Benvenuti, or welcome to Bay, the Alto Verbano's beautiful balcony. Bay is an attractive little village of 750 inhabitants, situated on the hills overlooking Lake Maggiore in the province of Verbania. With the nearby hamlets of Albagnano and Pian Nava and the neighbourhood of Roncaccio, it is a veritable oasis of peace and tranquility and boasts spectacular views of the Verbano. Let's begin our exploration of the municipality of Bay, starting here at the local post office, built in 1906. The building is also home to the Pro Loco, and it is from here that we'll set out on our walking tour of the Comune, to discover its beautiful views, its historical and artistic treasures, as well as some of its popular traditions. But before we begin, let's have a quick peek through the gates of Villa Werther to admire its well-kept grounds and lovely park, which includes a magnificent sequoia. From here, we'll take the road down to the cemetery, which up to the beginning of the 1900s was the official municipal road connecting Bay and Albagnano. Here we are on the path that runs through the woods in the valley between Monte Cimolo, to our left, and Monte San Salvatore, to the right. After crossing the little stone bridge over the Rio Mulini, we start our climb up to Albagnano, along copulate boulders, old millstones, and stretches of the ancient mule track. We are now entering the center of the little hamlet of Albagnano, where, in certain corners, time seems to have stood still. The picturesque church, first mentioned in a document of 1659, is worth a look, as well as the small wayside chapel of Our Lady of the Assumption, built during the period of the pestilence as a vow to the Virgin Mary and the two saints, Defendente and Liberata, their names especially significant, for their intercession on behalf of the village. Here we can admire a magnificent panorama of Lake Maggiore. Albagnano has been known for a number of years for the presence of the important Buddhist meditation center.
The Buddhist center of Albagnano, Albagnano Healing Meditation Center, was founded by Lama Ganchen in 1999. It's a place in nature that has as an objective to interact with everyone that comes here, open completely to everyone, to develop inner peace. It's a Buddhist center where one can learn how to meditate, can learn the Buddhist philosophy, can practice this path that was taught by Buddha. At the same time, it's a place open to everyone, where one can find a place of silence, a place for reflection, a place where to look and find one's own spiritual path. At this place, at the center, we have the spaces dedicated to receive the people, such as places to sleep, to eat, and so on. And at the same time, we have the core, the heart of the center, which is our temple, a place dedicated to meditation, to prayer, and most of all, dedicated to peace.
Now let's continue through the woods to Bay's second hamlet, Pian Nava. This was once the Margingali court of Bay's farmers who drove their herds in the spring halfway up the mountainside for summer pasturing, returning down to the village in the autumn. After passing the headquarters of the local volunteer forest fire brigade, we turn left. Ahead of us is a half-hour walk through the pine forest on the well-shaded trail that climbs up to the 950-meter summit of Monte Cimolo. Along the path, the numbered markers indicate the lots of municipal forest that were once rented out by the families of the village to secure a steady supply of wood for domestic use. From the top is a spectacular, all-encompassing view of Lake Maggiore and the surrounding area, including the Borromeo Gulf with its 3 islands and the Monte Rosa mountain range off in the distance. Before starting the descent, let's have a look at a boulder here inscribed with Bosco Roma, Società Riduci, 1880. This was a tribute to the veterans of the Risorgimento Wars and early pioneers of reforestation, a little piece of history at the top of the mountain. Continuing down the hill, we come to the Casa degli Alpini, the perfect place for a picnic. From here, our route continues along a paved road to a marked junction, where we can take the path on down to the Cos copilated boulder and its enigmatic engravings, and then to the Chapel del Sciuvlino. Sciuvlino is the name in dialect for gerlo, a large basket with shoulder straps used to carry hay and other harvested crops or goods in general, and is still in use today. In the past, peasants would stop at the chapel to pray and rest for a moment on their way home from the fields. Exhausted after a hard day's work, they would take off their gerlo and lean it against the chapel, hence the name. Built between the end of the 1400s and the beginning of the 1500s, we can admire the oldest fresco in the village, the Madonna delle Grazie, to which the chapel is dedicated. We're now in the neighbourhood of Roncaccio, with its rows of colourful old houses, narrow lanes, and more lovely views over the rooftops and the lake. The little church dedicated to Our Lady of the Sorrows is home to the curious painting of the Divine Shepherdess, also known as the Spanish Madonna. We're coming to the end of our short tour of Bay and its environs as we reach the Pianezza, which was the traditional name of today's Piazza Barozzi, the administrative and commercial center of the village. The local kindergarten and middle school are also located here. Enjoy a cup of coffee and a chat at the Cini Bar across the street, or have a quick pizza or a longer meal based on traditional dishes at the Circolo Serenella. Conveniently situated halfway between the lake and the mountains, Bay enjoys an enviable strategic and climatic position, and this is what makes it definitely worth a visit or even a longer stay. Leaving from the lakeside at Verbania Intra, which is connected to the Lombard shore by a regular ferry service, an easy 15-minute drive up the hill brings you to the center of our lovely village. Here you'll find everything you need for an easy and pleasant stay: a pharmacy, post office, and cash dispenser, or ATM, a grocery store, bar, pizzeria, and restaurants. We are located about 30 minutes from the Swiss border and 20 minutes from the A26 motorway to Milan, a little over an hour's drive away, or in the opposite direction to the Simplon Pass. Bay is the ideal destination for those wanting to relax, surrounded by nature's beauty, far from the noise and chaos of city life. But it is also appreciated by sun worshippers and beach lovers, as well as more energetic visitors who prefer hiking in the woods and the mountains along our well-marked trails. Spectacular views, peace and tranquility await you here in Bay. From the Pianezza, let's walk down to the oldest part of the village, with its maze of narrow streets and even narrower lanes, attractive houses and historical villas, where magical views of Lake Maggiore open up at every corner. One of the most impressive of these is from the Piazzetta Belvedere, a magnificent little balcony over the Verbano. Our day, immersed in the serene charm of nature and the tranquility of village life, is about to end here in this enchanting atmosphere. After taking in the breathtaking sunset, we can dine at one of the most renowned restaurants in the Alto Verbano, Chighin, where owner Adolfo delights his clients with a menu based on tradition and quality ingredients. And for those wanting to prolong their visit, Chighin also has stylishly furnished rooms and apartments available. From the Piazzetta, we'll walk back up one of the narrow lanes to the flight of steps that leads to the churchyard. Here we can stop in at the parish church of Santa Croce for a short visit. Now let's walk back down to the Pro Loco, where we started our tour. With a last look at the lake, the verdant hills and distant mountain peaks, it's time to say goodbye for now. but we'll be looking forward to seeing you again here in Bay, where you will always be welcome, or benvenuti.